Hello, thanks for joining Rupert Cooks. Today we're going to be making pork chili with yams and collard greens. Thanks for joining me. All right, so I'm making this chili with pinto beans. If you were using canned beans, you can totally skip this step. I just had some dried pinto beans on hand, so I thought I would use them. So I've got 1 cup of dried pinto beans, half a teaspoon of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of salt. I am going to throw all of this into the Instant Pot along with 6 cups of water, pressure cook on high, and then release the steam manually. Rinse, cook again. So let's get that started, and then we can get to chopping our meat and the rest of the things. Okay, I've got about 1.5 pounds of pork tenderloin cut into between a 3/4 and 1 inch dice. And we are going to sear this first. So it is a good idea to dry off the meat because things don't really sear too well unless your meat is dried off. So I'm going to do that. Then I've got a little bit of flour and some cumin in here. I don't know, 3 tablespoons of all-purpose flour and a couple of teaspoons of cumin. I'm just going to sprinkle it over it. Rub it all in. I might have made too much here, but that's okay. And while I've been doing all this cutting and everything, I've got my Dutch oven there heating with a little bit of oil in it because we want it very hot to brown this meat in. You don't want to get you want to sort of cook it on the outside so it hangs together. You don't really want to cook it through because we're going to be boiling this or simmering this for quite a while once we get going. So let's throw it in and get this searing. Okay, and if you look, you can see that the oil is just barely shimmering there. I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of garlic and a couple of chilies and the meat. And our 5 minutes cook time on the beans is done. I've pressed cancel, release the steam. And our steam is released. The little safety plunger is down. Open it up. Drain and give a rinse. Right back in the pot. And we need to add our 6 cups of water back into it. 6 cups water. All right, pressure cook, custom. "25 minutes, high, start." We're going to let those go, and now our meat is probably done. Okay, so our meat is nicely browned here, and now I'm going to add a 28-ounce can of whole tomatoes. Okay, so we have that up to a nice little simmer here. I'm kind of hitting the bottom of the pan a little bit to deglaze it and mush up these tomatoes a little. I feel like it's easier to mush these up when there's less liquid in there. And let's go ahead and throw in about a half of one of these 4-ounce cans of tomato paste, 2 cups of water, and let's get that tomato paste mixed in there. And then I've got about a tablespoon of oregano. What is this? A 1/4 cup of chili powder. No, that's 1/3 cup of chili powder. 1/4 cup of cumin. And a little bit of our old friend liquid smoke. About a teaspoon. Let's get that all stirred up and mixed in. we're going to cover that up and let it simmer while we wait for our beans to finish off. So we have 21 more minutes on the cook time on the beans, and then we're going to let them slow release for 20 minutes. So in the meantime, I'm just going to go ahead and get our onions and yams into there. So we want a pretty thin dice, and I don't really go too crazy on the onions at this stage because I kind of prefer to add onions after as well. Some people like a lot of onions and some don't. So this enables everybody to have it the way they like it. So let's just get these all sliced up fairly fine. Ow. And it's all falling apart. Throw these into our pot. Start peeling some yam. All right, so I have my 2 yams here. Depending on where you're at, you might want to go with just one large one. I really like yams, so I just go with 2. And we're going to get these into, you want these in a fairly hefty chunk, because if you go too small, they will fall apart on you or something like that. And you kind of want to preserve the fact that, like, yeah, there's yams in there, but at the same time, you want to not be so humongous that none of the flavor is getting into them. So there we go, reasonably big. And we are going to put them in. Next, a 28-ounce can of collard greens. It was at this point that when I first started making this, my girlfriend told me, "You're disgusting." And that hurt my feelings, because usually a woman will tell me that on the first date and leave, but she had drawn it out until showing up for dinner. So I don't care. I love it. I use canned collards just because I like having them on hand, and that's easier. If you want to use fresh collards, that's fine. But they add this sort of, lemony zing that collard greens do. This sort of, what do you call it? Like acidic bite that really works well with this chili. So let's put them in. Okay, whole can's going in, water and all. Let's get these stirred in here. Get it simmering. Cover it up. Simmer away. Okay, so we are coming up on 20 minutes of our cool down period after the 25 minutes of pressure cooking. And we have kept it on, and it's on warm here. So what we're going to do is just, I don't know, I'm going to call it 20 minutes. I'm going to hit cancel off. There we go, 20 minutes exactly. You can see quite a bit of difference. Doesn't have much to go to release. Button bolt down. Take it off. Oops, let's get the colander in there. And let's just put these back in there. And as you can see, our pinto beans are fairly well cooked. So I'm going to wait to hold those in until the end. And our yams still have to cook in the pot. So, okay, so time to serve it up. And yes, we are going to trash it up by serving it on top of spaghetti. Something about it, kind of meal that you want with small engine repair and that kind of manly man stuff. So I'm going to put a little bit of key lime juice on it. That zings it up. And a little bit of cheddar cheese. And there we go, all served up with our chili with yams, collard greens, and pork. You may have noticed that I didn't add any salt to this, and the reason for that is I was going to serve it on spaghetti, and I salt my spaghetti water very heavily, so sometimes that's just more than enough. Other times I'll add some afterwards and some pepper if I feel like I need it. Another nice thing to do is sprinkle a little cumin on top of it at the last, because that's one of those spices that's kind of aromatic, and adding it at the end can also be a nice thing to do. At any rate, I hope you liked this episode. Thank you for joining me on Rupert Cooks. Please like and subscribe, and check out my other videos in the playlist showing on your screen. Thanks a lot. I'll see you on the next one.